RHU, the inverse of artificial intelligence. What I want to do is create a new computer technology, new software technology. I don't think artificial intelligence, or whatever that is the right approach. All we're doing is adding another layer to our failed approach to software development. So I want to suggest or cover again and come up with an alternate approach. Maybe. So we should look at the definition of artificial intelligence. What does artificial mean? It's made or produced by human beings rather than occurring naturally, especially as a copy of something natural, of a person or their behavior, insincere or affected. An intelligence, the faculty of understanding, intellect, also as a count noun, a mental manifestation of this faculty, a capacity to understand. I think it's the capacity to understand that I don't like, meaning that I have to be able to understand something to have intelligence. A branch of knowledge, obsolete and rare. So, or it's the action or fact of mental comprehending something, understanding, knowledge, comprehension of something. Also, as an act of mental comprehension. Early modern philosophers such as Bacon, Hobbes, Locke, and Hume, all of whom preferred the word understanding instead of intelligence. So, which means we're really looking at understanding. I understand what the word TREE means. It's a tree. Tree in itself is not knowledge. My understanding of it is the knowledge. Tree is a fact, the word that we put in to our understanding. Different languages have different words. So tree means nothing to maybe somebody in France or Germany or any other country. So we're our understanding, but everybody in the world understands what a tree is, even though they don't use that word. So I want to rename AI to RHU. And what is RHU? RHU is a record of human understanding. So we're not in a computer. I'm not trying to put the understanding in there. I'm just trying to put the record of our understanding. So we use the word tree to mean what we understand, not what the tree is. We can't do that. We can't get that comprehension, but we can get the facts in there, which is all we're working with anyway. Or the recipes, which is our logic, our actions, which has the capabilities of a light switch. Means that our computers only deal with turning on and off switches. How many switches is irrelevant, whether it's one or a billion or a trillion, makes no difference. It's still, I turn a switch on, is the switch intelligent? Or does it understand? Does it even understand if it's on or off? It is what it is. Does a rock understand that it's a rock? I don't think so. One is by land, two is by sea. Here's something we understand. Are the redcoats coming? Is the candle understanding? Does the candle understand why it was turned on, why it was lit or not lit? And knowledge, we'll use the word knowledge as the record, not the understanding. So we're not trying to put the understanding in there. That's up to us. We understand, not the computer, not the record itself. So water and oil don't understand what's happening when they mix. It's not the water that understands, it's us that understands what's going to happen, what we're interested in. Does water and oil care what happens? No, it just happens. And so we could ask, well, what about alcohol and oil? What happens there? Now there we could come up with knowing that certain things happen when things are mixed. That's what we're putting in there. And we could derive some of those things by knowing other characteristics. So our RHU, record of of human understanding. What do we want before we start? So if I'm building a new technology that replaces all of our existing computer technologies and applications, I want to replace them all because I don't believe they work. Basically, they don't record any of our human understanding. We write billions of applications that are all independent, that are all have no real, they do what they do. So before we start, we want an organization for our knowledge. So before we get our first bit of knowledge, whatever it is, we need a place for it. If we were building a library, a book library, then we would create a card catalog so that we could find our knowledge. And we're doing the same thing here. So if we have a computer where we can store knowledge, we need a way to make sure that that organization is built before we start putting our stuff in. And then we need a place for that knowledge. We need to know, we need the knowledge about where we put something, and we know what we need to have that place already defined before we start. So at the library, we build the bookshelves. And with the bookshelves, people already know where each book goes before we get our first book. And we need a way to access knowledge. So if we're a library, we need aisles between, we need walking space between bookshelves. So we need access to it. We need to be able to get a human in there to pull and stock our books. And so with our knowledge, we want our system to be able to access all knowledge. And we need a way to add, change, and delete knowledge. So we can add a book or change a book, delete one. So these are the things that we need. This is nothing special, but we don't have this in our current technologies. And we really need a way to visualize our knowledge. Right now we have no way to visualize it. Each application we build has to come up with its own way to visualize knowledge, which means if it's a map, we need to be able to draw lines and text and symbols. If it's a book, we need to be able to put it in pages and create indexes and table of contents and words and pictures and whatever else we want in the book. So we need to be able to visualize that. If we're doing mathematics, we need to be able to put in mathematics. If we're doing music, and so this has to be, so knowledge comes in all forms. It could be dance steps, it could be, anything. And so we need to be able to visualize that. And that has to be a fundamental aspect of any technology we build. So these are fundamental. These are all done for us. And then we need a way to accept an action request. So computers only do actions. It adds two numbers. It looks up all blue ones, runs motors. It turns on lights. It shows pictures. So we need a way to get that. And whatever knowledge we have must have a purpose. We cannot have metadata. Metadata is only for us. It means that here's some information, human. Does this do you any good? I throw it away because it's of little value to me. I need that system, that the computer itself, to, if I'm going to put it in there, then it has to have some value and purpose. So in our current technology, in our current computer technology, we have none of this. Every application has to do some or have its own little world of these steps, of this process. But we only really need one for all applications, for all knowledge. And if we can't get there, then we're not going anywhere. What I want is Jane, or the librarian, to be able to do all of this for us. So we don't have to stock our books. We don't need, the organization should already be done for us. The place where we put things is already done. And when we get some new knowledge, that knowledge is added and changed and deleted automatically for us. The visualization is already done for us. and it can accept all of our requests for an action. And everything has a purpose. So it's Jane, the librarian, and so she does it. So we don't even have to go in the library. And this is for all knowledge in the world, on all computers, in all modes, in memory, on disk, or wherever, in whatever format. So all of our binary structures, all of our computer languages, all of our book material, all of our documents, all of our whatever digital information we have, it's one system. So Jane, our personal assistant, has access to all knowledge everywhere. And all general knowledge is local. It means that we want it as close as possible for speed. We don't want to have to go anywhere to get up a list of boys' names, or a list of dog types, or how to do math equations, or any of the other. All the logic should be local. There is only one location for all knowledge locally, and yet we can go get knowledge from anywhere. So the personal assistant handles all movement of knowledge wherever it has to go, for whatever purpose. And it performs all action requests. It has no predefined applications. This is not billions of applications. It's really just one set of logic modules. So what the assistant does is gathers the required logic for the particular purpose. So if I need a sort of list of employees in Houston, it determines how to do that, builds the logic for us, either caches it or temporarily or dynamic or whatever. And then that gathers all the utensils and ingredients as needed. So some of it could be logic, some of it could be lookup tables, and there's probably more lookup tables in our current systems than anything else as far as logic is concerned. When we build an application, we try to put as many lookup tables as possible. So our current use of RHU, this is for communication purpose only. So RHU is, so for pictures, if we had a stack of pictures in our hand, like in the old days when we didn't do digital, we could write on the back. This would be our RHU. This would be our recording of human understanding of who's in the picture, and what the purpose of the picture was. We could write that on the back. In our current technology, we can't do that. We can't write on the back of anything. We have no way to do this. We have a file. We can't really communicate any purpose for that file at all. Not really. Not as much as we need. We need the capability to be able to write on the back of any picture or any bit of information. We need that under our understanding, so that I can share this information, which is communication. So for our hand tools, we etch our initials somewhere on them. This is our way of saying those are my tools. I can't tell. My understanding is your hammer looks like my hammer. I put my initials on them for our understanding. And the same one with everything else. Why is that value 12? We need these, we need to be able to put units in there. We need to be able to do mathematics as we understand it. And on our houses, we show the house number. And so anybody trying to find me can look at the number and find me. This is our understanding. These are just the trivial things, but these are more than we have in our digital information. So on our all digital information, our RHU is first the ability to record human knowledge. These are boys' names, these are cat name types, and billions and trillions of pieces of knowledge that are common And in the uncommon, which is who's in the picture, we need to be able to record our knowledge so that we understand it, we can communicate that in a shared way. And we need to be able to record computer knowledge. The computer gather knowledge, can say these operations altered the look of this picture. This is how your email was sent over the server. We can keep that knowledge and all these substructures that we have, and the ability of who changed this and why was it changed, and all of this knowledge that we can gather up. We should have the ability to record. Most importantly, we need a visual human representation of knowledge. So if it's a map, we need to see it as a map. If it's mathematics, we need to see mathematics and music and every other technology, and be able to do this instantaneously instead of writing applications to do this. There's only so many. We only do lines, text, and images. That's all we ever draw, irrelevant of what the application is. So we need to get that out of the hands of all these applications and let them do their job. And all the information we put in there must be actionable. I mean, that if we can't do anything with it, we don't want it. Generally, like in our writing on the back of a picture, we know exactly what somebody wants. We know exactly, okay, this is important for my family, and I'll put the names on there. And we don't do that a lot, and if we had a way in digital information to do the same thing, it'd be great. We could organize, and actually I want most of the organization of pictures and things like that to be done for us, so that it will allow you to do all of them. These are all Christmas pictures, and have it so that if they're, no matter where they're at, that information stays with the image, not external. None of this is external. I'm changing our technology so that we can have a complex knowledge, not values. Right now we're only doing name value. No, I want complex values, which is, yes, this is a picture, this is the back, this is the information he wrote, and so on. This is a tool, and that my initials, when I have a hammer, my initials go with the hammer. It's not, I wrote on a piece of paper over here that was my hammer. Well, that doesn't do anybody any good. And it's editable completely, and knowledgeable means that every bit and value that we have in any format, we should be able to edit it, pull it up and see it. So, and we should have all character and line styles, means that we don't have separate editors that only do, like our current scripting languages, we can only do black and white, one-dimensional characters. Our keyboard, our typewriter, is literally what we're typing on. We need to be able to use underline and color and hash marks and whatever else we can get to help with our understanding. It's our understanding that we need, and we don't want the computer to do it. And we're trying to simulate understanding, and that's the wrong approach. That's why I'm saying our computers don't work. So we need the characters, and we need to be able to add custom line styles and custom characters. I'm a mathematician, and I just came up with a new thing, and I need a symbol to represent that. And he has to be able to do that in 3.5 seconds, not wait 14 years for some computer company to say, oh, well, I think we'll create a better font. Our fonts now are a joke. Don't get me started on Unicode. And we should be able to put in all of our qualifiers, our purpose for the values, the documentation. That should all be with it, not in some other files, not in some other location. And the context. So this is 12, and it's related to me. So that context, it's just not age. It's not, when I say age is 12, age is actually related to me internally within the value of age. It's this just having value, name value, is leaving it up to the human to do that understanding. Do I understand what this age was? I pushed this over to another subroutine or something like that. It has no idea what it's related to. It just says it's an age. Go do something with it. But if I'm the user, I'd like to know what's going on. I'm trying to find out if this projection algorithm has all the proper qualifiers, parameters, and these things. You run in a bank, you want to know exactly what customer those values are coming from. I see a checkout here, and it's this knowledge, this understanding of purpose and context that we need. And then we need the terms and relationships of everything. And then we need, of course, all knowledge in public formats. Means that we don't need to see these scripting languages and these abbreviated context and that CNC G-code kind of things. Oh, X12 means this, and that's not understand. We don't need abbreviations. We don't need coded tables. We need internally, fine, but externally to the human, we need all of it. Maybe the numbers are great, 100. If I'm in Dewey, I know what's in the 800s and what's in the and so on. So numbers are great too. If it's knowledgeable. But our current technology is isolated proprietary applications. That's what I'm saying, is we can't share the information of any application. Word only works on a Word document. I cannot use any other application to do anything with it. Not realistically. I could personally, but I don't want to. So it's not the answer to keep writing more and more proprietary applications that have proprietary data structures, which in itself cannot be shared, because we don't know. We need to know exactly the values that we create. What there is only one programmer's product of their understanding and talent. So whoever wrote Word, that was his understanding of how it should be done, or his approach to how complex or how simple it should be. And all of our applications are exactly this. Only the author of information understands, but he has no place to put that knowledge. So if I write a Word document, I need to make everything I need known about it. And if it gets copied somewhere, I need to make sure that knowledge is, I need to know everything. And I have to do it with as few problems and irritations to the user, to me, as possible. So currently, our current technology, sharing of digital information is not possible. That's what I'm getting to. That's why I want to change our technology. But with the RHU, the recording of human understanding, the values we need to understand something, that's what I want to get to, and then be able to process those and create more knowledge and more understanding of, and be able to, that's what artificial intelligence is saying. Look, I can go find the cat in the picture. What if I could just say, cat's in the picture, and be done with it? So the approach here is to get everything automated that can possibly automated. So actually all the logic that I'm showing you here is accumulative. 90% of every application is just moving in values around. Give me the arrays or the pictures that I did Christmas. And well, thank you very much, and have a great one. Bye now.